All right, we will call the regular city council meeting to order May 20th, 2025 at 6:31 p.m. We have a quorum, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, we will start with the proclamation for the Stewart Elementary Teacher of the Year, Claudia Blanco. Are you here tonight? Okay, stand up and be recognized. This is your night. We appreciate all that you do for the kids. I know several people here have had kids go through that school. I had several of mine go through that school. It was a wonderful experience, so thank you for all you do. Yeah. So whereas Claudia Blanco is a bilingual resource and inclusion teacher at Lavasi Stewart Elementary, and whereas Ms. Blanco has been teaching for 10 years in the Clear Creek ISD, 4 of those at Lavasi Stewart Elementary, and whereas her dedication to her students and their families and her commitment to teaching and learning has earned her the honor of being recognized as the 2024-2025 Lavasi Stewart Elementary Teacher of the Year. And whereas Ms. Blanco spends numerous hours in the classroom teaching students and empowering them to think freely, ask questions, share diverse thoughts, learn in a safe and judgment-free environment and their best self. And whereas Ms. Blanco provides support and instruction to students while collaborating with other campus staff to ensure the best learning outcomes for her students. And whereas the Lavasi Stewart Elementary Teacher of the Year recognition honors an educator that has made a difference and continues to make a difference in the lives of their students while inspiring their fellow teachers and others around them. Now, therefore, we, the City of Clear Lake Shores, do hereby congratulate Claudia Blanco for her being named the 2024 to 2025 Lavasi Stewart Elementary Teacher of the Year, and proudly proclaim May 20th, 25 as Claudia Blanco Day. In the City of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, we encourage all citizens to join us in congratulating Ms. Blanco and recognizing the hard work and dedication for all the teachers and educators. All right, thank you again. We will move on to reports from council. Councilman Ed Waters.
I just want to recognize one of our citizens we lost last night, John Wright. He was instrumental in working with the city. He was a prior councilman at one time. He reminded me one time before I got on, he said, one thing I got good out of this, I still got all my silver dollars. And also on Monday, we have Veterans Day recognition down at Sundial Park, 7 o'clock. We'd like for y'all all to be there so we can recognize our veterans.
All right, thank you, Ed. Rick Fisher?
First off, I just want to thank everybody that came out last weekend for Steak and Sinatra. Those of you that made it out know it was a phenomenal evening. The steaks were incredible, and Ricky Davis was just nailed it as always. We're doing it again next year, so we'll try not to coincide it with a yacht club event this time. Sorry, guys, we didn't know about that until after we already had everything arranged. As far as Parks Committee goes, kind of a meeting tomorrow, but it's going to be more over at Deep Hole and over at, I can't even think, Sundial to do some planting. So if anybody feels like getting out and sweating a little bit in the wonderful weather that we're having tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, feel free to show up. I'm sure they could use a hand.
All right, thank you, Rick. Councilman Jeff Terrell?
Ed, the only thing I want to say tonight is just to tell Alex thank you for all his years on council. I don't know that a lot of projects in the city would have gotten done without him. He put a lot of effort over the years. So I think he deserves a big round of applause for stuff he's done for the city.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Amanda Fenwick?
I don't have any updates.
I'm going to Alex last. Okay, Alex, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I have a huge speech prepared. No, I don't. I'm just going to go off the cuff. I just want to say thank you to the citizens for giving me this opportunity. It's been great. Learned a lot. Been through the good, the bad, the ugly, the really, really ugly. It's, I've grown, I think. I've grown with a lot of members on council, and I feel like the city's in a good place now. I don't feel so guilty leaving. I do feel some guilt. Alan's back in the building. Amanda's up here. There's a Terrell on council. It's not so different than when I got here, so it's kind of interesting. You've got a good mayor. You've got a good city administrator, good staff. I think overall the city's better than when I got here. I'd like to think so, at least. Maybe you don't, but that's okay. And I'll be a resource to the city if I need to be. And feel free to call me if you need anything, Mike. But I think you got it under control. And, oh boy.
Speed dial.
Well, yeah. Thanks for all everything from the citizens allowing me to do this. It's been great. I'm gonna miss it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alex. Okay, so I'll let Mike talk about a couple things. I know there was a meeting about the boat ramp, a construction meeting with he and Cheryl and Cheryl Mark. I was not there at that meeting, so I just wanted you to know that's coming your way. I did talk to Darrell Apfel today about the bridge. They are still in the planning process for vetting engineers to do those projects, so that's a little ways off, but they are working on that as we speak. I did ask him to allow us to be part of that project so we can get that pedestrian bridge incorporated into that the way we want it to do, with some of the footings and all the design work that Alex did on that side of the bridge. So that's pretty much it for my report. I don't have a whole lot to report tonight. Alex was not here last meeting, so I'd like to present him with his silver dollar and his certificate. Really why I do it for the money. It's for the money. It is for the money. Thank you. I also wanted to give him a little something from the council, and just a little something to remember us by. You can hang this in your office. This is for all your years of volunteer service to our city. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. We'll give you this so you can take it home and don't scratch it. I'd like to reiterate a little bit about what this young man has given to our city. I mean, as far as being an engineer and saving this city thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars, and his dedication to getting things right and helping this city grow is just tremendous. So let's give him another round of applause. All right, we will move on to staff reports. Chief David Donaldson.
Mayor, Council, did you get a packet or an email with the flock safety equipment to you?
Yes.
Okay, so Julie and I have been working on this flock safety system, and we've prepared a grant for this system, which pays 80% of the cost, whatever we decide to get. We're not at the point now to talk money because we don't know how many we need to get. We have a number, but they also offer a speed trailer that we can pull around in different spots, and again, that grant pays 80%. What we're here for is to get permission just to move forward with this flock safety. No price. We just need to get permission from the mayor and council to move forward before they can, we can move forward.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for David on this flock camera?
So I guess this is just going to be kind of an enhancement to the new cameras and what we approved last time. Those the speed signs and everything right beginning on Clear Lake Road, and wherever we're going to put the third one, this would be something else that would be more of an enhancement for that.
Yes, sir. It's a standalone system. It's different from what we just got. This system, the flock safety system, if we try to get, they don't sell a license just where we can tag on League City's coattails or whatever. We have to purchase 2 cameras and pay 80% of the cameras. If one's defective, they'll know it before we do because it sends them an alert. But what this does for us, and what my hope is that, we're being targeted at Home Depot for theft, Target today. We're seizing one vehicle right now that was involved in a felony theft, and I'm hoping, that we can move forward by seizing cars to make this program paid for by the cars that we seize. We're not going to seize every car. We got to seize the cars that don't have liens on them and stuff like that. So we'll pick and choose what we try to seize.
Chief, there's other, like Link City has the flock system, right? So would ours talk with theirs in any way, in any other systems?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll have U.S. Capabilities. Home Depot owns their own flock safety system, so we'd have to write them a letter where they could give us permission. But actually, that's how today they got the theft. They did League City on 646. Yeah, and then they knew they were coming over here because of the flock, so they were waiting on them.
Cool.
So they received a gun and got all the property back to the owners.
All right, thank you, David. City Administrator Mike Cramp.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I really have to report on is the meeting that Cheryl and I had, and Cheryl, if I forget anything, please tag team. So I've received a lot of inquiries in my short time here about the boat ramp, and I know, I've mentioned several times that the mayor harangues those people continually at the state and at Colliers as well, and Cheryl has expressed to me some dissatisfaction in the past in being able to get quick responses, timely responses from, not from Colliers, I'm sorry, I mentioned Shellmark, from Shellmark. And so one of the big concerns I had when I reviewed the contract that we entered into with Shellmark, I realized that we contracted with them to do everything for this project, from not just design, but they're contracted for RFP services and preparation, for bid selection, and for management of the project. And that gave me some pause because I might be a little bit anal about demanding the services we pay for, and the people who'd had to deal with them so far hadn't been happy with the timely responses. So we actually met last week, Cheryl, with the owner of Shellmark, and he came to us, met with us, and I was very candid with him. We had that difficult conversation. I said, dude, I don't know if we can trust you to do this. And he owned it all. He was very positive. He took out all the intermediaries that we've been dealing with to this point in his company, and he said, you only deal directly with me. So he gave us his cell phone number. He immediately responded to us with some things that we weren't even aware of. He is, as Alex said, he's kind of a one-man shop, not really, but he's the only guy in his company who does this waterfront type of stuff, this waterfront or the in the water construction projects like boat ramps and docks and that kind of stuff. So we will be working directly with him moving forward. What we told him was we want a shovel-ready project by the time this grant is approved. Now, the state has grandiose advertising, I guess, plans or aspects in that they will tell us or have told us that 30 to 60 days after we get the grant application in, you should see a movement. Well, I've never had a grant of any level at state or federal approved in that short amount of time. I just don't see it happening. So what we told him was we want a shovel-ready project as soon as we get the go-ahead with grant funding. We want to already be finished with the request for proposals and the bid submissions. We want to have selected a bidder and have gotten approval from council to move forward with getting a contract with that bidder and have them basically on contingency ready to go. And so he has assured us that he will move as fast as he can to get all of that done. And we'll see how it goes. We think it was a very good meeting. It was a very candid meeting for sure. And Cheryl, I don't know about you, but I came away feeling pretty positive about the future with it. So obviously we'll stay on it. We'll keep you abreast of everything that's going on because the public is obviously very interested in the boat ramp project, and so it's a big deal for us. And just so you know, the revised estimated cost is a little over $900,000. Don't know what that would have been 7 years ago, but it's going to be an expensive project.
So we have actual documentation for that, and I asked because Cindy Butcher from Bonin's office was texting me literally like 2 hours ago. There's hearings going on for the state budget, and they're trying to help us get funding for that, and she wanted to know the address, but the last time, I don't know, she texted me last week, I think, asking about the cost. I told her $850 because that was the last number I have, so I can text her and tell her it's more like
902.
902?
902, right? 903?
Okay.
903.
Okay. That's helpful because she was asking me for any other information today as well, so I can tell her we've met with Shellmark and
yeah,
okay.
The grant application is submitted. The dollar amounts, I think Shellmark had to enter that as that portion of their stuff in the grant application, or at least some of those costs.
Okay. Who's the grant through? Is it through Texas Parks and Wildlife, right?
Can you use your microphone, please? Cheryl, can you use your microphone, please? Thank you.
So the grant's actually a pass-through through the federal fisheries,
But who's managing at the state level?
Parks and Wildlife.
Okay. Because that's what she'll want to know.
So the grant app has been submitted, and she hasn't submitted it yet to the wildlife fisheries on the Fed side yet. That's
Okay.
who gives the blessing is the Fed.
Thanks.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We'll move on to committee reports, roads and drainage. Anyone here from roads and drainage? You should let Alex give the last one.
Well, thanks, Alex. We've had some, we've entered some of them.
Is that
We
thing
did
on?
actually, last meeting, we did promise Mike that we're going to try to make them shorter. Where's Richard? Yeah, but we'll stay on it. The good news is that we got the bond approved, or the county got a bond approved, so we're getting a new bridge. So we are saving a bunch of money, not only for roads and drainage, because of our share for doing the pedestrian bridge, but also that we don't have to do any repairs to the existing bridge. I'll get back to that on EDC too, saving a bit of money. Other than that, we don't really have much to update other than that we've started doing some work with ditches and outstanding maintenance that's been lagging behind. And then we're doing some more elevations before we can start the construction of Narcissus. Now, I talked to, after the meeting we had, the mayor with, the meeting I attended about the flooding and drainage. Hank Dugan told me that typically they use 12 to 18 months for engineering, and then, the bridge may be done in 2 to 3 years, but it sounds like we may be able to influence that if we need to, at least somewhat. The county want to do all of the project management unless there is compelling reasons why the city should do it themselves. So, that's all I have. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Thomas. Parks Committee?
We're meeting tomorrow at the pool, actually. We have, hold on, let me pull up Mary's text for what she wanted. Okay, so we're meeting at the park tomorrow because we're going to, or at the pool, and check the flower beds there. She wants to put a couple of hibiscus plants in there. Then we're going to go over to Sundial and get that ready for Memorial Day weekend. And that, and you know, and then she said to remind everyone that the lifeguards officially start their shifts this weekend at the pool, and so we probably need to put a word out. You know, if you don't have your bands in your membership, you might want to get it. It's a holiday weekend, so the pool should be open on Monday. And that's all we have for now.
Okay. Teresa, will you make sure we put something out for that? Thank
And
you.
I just want to say, I was at the pool this weekend and saw Darlene and her family, and the sleeves that are on the rails as you come out of the pool, she has purchased. I think we need to take that over in the future. But thank you for that, because Peyton was getting out of the pool and she was like, those rails are really hot. So thank you for, that shouldn't be an expense that a resident has to purchase, but they do make a difference. So thank you, Darlene. And she was scooping out leaves out of the pool. So somebody who is very dedicated and loves our pool, appreciate that.
All right, thank you. Waterfront compliance?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Planning and zoning? Anyone here from planning and zoning? All right. Zoning Board of Adjustments? No one here from there? All right, we will move on to Civic Club report.
Thank you. For those, I think I've met most of you all, but for those that don't know me, my name is Bruce Stetler, and I was vice president of the Civic Club. In April, Georgette South retired, and so by default, I kind of got moved into the presidency. But that's okay. I'll do it. Just bear with me. I'm going to work very hard to do it. And I still have the back of her, and then I've got great other board members. And I think we got the vice presidency filled. So anyhow, nice to meet you all. May 1st, we had the ice cream social with the pool sign up. I think it was pretty decent. There was a pretty good line there waiting for sign-ups and stuff. I don't know the actual number of people we signed up for the pool membership, but then on May 2nd, we had a blood drive. There was 33 donors, 29 bloods were accepted, and that saves 87 lives. So, and the blood drive is in honor of Carrie Kelly. So we're going to continue to do that. I want to give kudos to Rick and his wife for the Steaks in Sinatra. Wonderful event. Best steak I've had in a long time. The entertainment was great. My wife and I had a wonderful time. So next year you should really try to come to that. It was pretty much sold out. We might have had a couple. May 15th, we had the scholarship deadline, and we had one recipient that we'll be awarding a scholarship to. And I ordered yesterday the signs for the graduating seniors. We had 4 that are graduating, and we'll get them up out here as soon as possible, along with the big banner. So June 5th, we have a Civic Club meeting, Mix and Mingle. And if anybody could come, we're going to try to honor Georgette. I already spoke to her. She's going to come. We've got a little gift to give her, you know, so for her service. She's been great. June 7th, we have the Stephen Lee Memorial Kids Fishing Derby. Everything looks good for that. We have everything all in line. Michael and Joe are doing a great job. And then on June 28th, we'll have our Independence Day celebration with the golf cart parade, the Jarbo Pavilion. We'll have a slip and slide, hamburgers, hot dogs. We'll do our membership drive then. The Yacht Club is supporting us with some stuff there. Galveston Bay Brewing supporting us. We'll have a snow cone truck, and we'll have a slippy slide. So that's all I got to report.
Bruce, you said you only had one scholarship?
Yep.
And only one person applied?
One person applied. There was 4 seniors, but one applied.
Oh, my. Okay. All that free money, nobody wants it.
Free
huh?
money, $2,000.
Wow. Can I still apply?
Next year. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bruce. All right, moving on, economic development.
First off, I forgot to mention that the next roads and drainage meeting is Thursday next week, Thursday at 4:30 here. Economic development, we are also pleased that we don't have to participate with money in the bridge, so now we are a little bit less in arrears as far as money. Because the EDC is funding the 25% of the boat ramp. That's not covered by the grants. Other than that, the building up at 770 Marina Bay Drive has sold. It was supposed to close on the 9th, and I believe it did. It's a real estate business. I reached out to them and see if they were, going to do something different that could generate sales tax, but it sounds like it's just a real estate office. Well, they're going to have a lot to do. Our next meeting is Tuesday, June the 10th at 6:30. We don't really have much of anything going at the moment because, well, we need to take care of our current obligations. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. All right, moving on, we'll move on to public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the city council if the topic of discussion is related to an item on the agenda. The comments may be made now or at the time the agenda item is discussed. If the topic of discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the city council cannot deliberate or take any action at this time. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per individual, and there will be no yielding of time. Would anyone like to address the city council? Go ahead. You have something you want to say? Oh, okay. Well, you're over there giggling. Okay, if we have no one that wants to address the council, we'll move on and close the public comments. We'll move to the consent agenda, items A, B, and C, check register, council meeting minutes, and waterfront transfer. We have any motions on that item?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, May 1st, 2025 through May 14th, 2025, A, B, and C.
Okay, got a motion by Ed.
I'll second it.
Got a second by Rick. Any discussion on any of those items? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to old business. Discussion and possible action may be taken on the following. Approve clubhouse revised rental rates. This is under Mike, but I'm going to tell you, we had an incident, and I don't know if you can show those pictures. We don't have this happen very often. And so it's caused me to take a couple steps back. I don't even know what that is on the floor in the bathroom, but this was what was left over from a pig carcass that somebody cooked here over Friday evening. And so they just threw it in the fridge and left it. Thank God we didn't have anybody rent the place for Saturday, or it would have been a mess. You can keep going. There's tables, whatever that black stuff is all over that was back here on the floor. All the tables were left out. You can see there's debris on the floor. It was just a mess. We always talk about, and in talking about this rental rate, we always say, well, we can just charge a cleaning fee. Well, I have figured out that it's going to be really hard to get a cleaning company out here on a Saturday or Sunday. They want over $650 to come out. It's a monthly fee, and we have to guarantee them that they're going to be able to clean, even if they don't have to clean. Who's going to come and look at this building? So that poses one problem. What happens if someone had this place rented and they didn't want to clean it and we had nobody to clean it? We're going to forfeit their rental. They don't get to have their event. So this is an issue. We have a dumpster back there. We supply the trash bags. I'm not really sure why someone wouldn't want to clean up. Needless to say, they forfeited their deposit. But still, we had no one that could come over here and clean it up. Jorge and Odie aren't here. No city staff is here. So that creates a problem. Christy and I were talking about this item today on the agenda, and I'm going to just say that she brought up a really good point. rather than try to rush through this and get all this stuff ironed out and just throw numbers at it, and because I can tell you at $650 a month, we don't make that much money on this place. We couldn't afford to guarantee somebody a cleaning rate at $650 a month. We might as well stop renting it, because we're already in the hole with the insurance that we pay over here, and other things that Cheryl brought to my attention. So I think we should table this and talk about this in more depth, maybe even having a workshop on this and give us more time to find out about cleaning. I will say that today I proposed to Jorge and Odie, just to throw it out there, what if we could pay you some overtime and you guys switch off weekends just to come and check this place in between? That would be a heck of a lot cheaper than paying a cleaning company. But I can assure you most cleaning companies do not want to mess with event venues because of that reason. People don't want to pay them if it's not dirty, and they want guaranteed money to come and look at it. So it's an issue. But I don't think we're ready to deal with all that, honestly. I think we need to look into it more and come up with one game plan and be done with it. So that's my suggestion. Unless you guys have anything else on the subject, I'll be more than happy to let Mike talk, or you guys can give me any of your input.
So the other thing that we postponed this for was a conversation between the yacht club and the city. So what's the status on that? Because that was one of the main reasons we postponed this.
So the yacht club representative has been out of town, and this week I've been out of touch. So we haven't been able to connect. I communicated with him through email yesterday and advised him this was up for an agenda discussion tonight if he wanted to be here to answer any questions. But we hadn't actually been in discussion like we had planned because something came up with him and he wasn't available. I do have a little bit of input. I wasn't here the night that you guys met and discussed this. I see a lot of issues with the 4-hour rental, and I don't know, especially one of the conversations that I've had with some members of the staff is, okay, if somebody rents it in the morning and they don't clean it up, how are we going to have it available for rental on a Saturday or a Sunday afterwards? So when I went back and rewrote it, I was only going to allow that during the week. But even at that, we don't have professional cleaning staff on command. And it would be impossible for us, I think, if we had a bad rental in the morning to have it ready for somebody who had already paid a deposit and had, as the mayor mentioned when we were talking about it, what if they had flown people into town for a reception or something, and then they're out, for hotel fees and plane tickets and all that, and we've got a ramshackle rental for them because it's not even clean. I would offer to council that I think it should be discussed at least to reconsider those part-day rentals. We don't have the staff to have somebody around here all the time to make sure it's picked up right, and I think it just becomes a possible disappointment for people who rent it.
Well, and remember what brought this up. So remember what brought this whole conversation up was somebody wanted to rent it for 2 hours to do yoga and use it as a business. That's what brought this whole thing together. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about this. So I'm just going to reiterate what Mike said. It's a daily fee. It shouldn't be any less than that. It's too hard to manage. Or we don't rent it at all. I mean, we're not making money on it. It's not like it's something that we do that can even pay for itself. So I think we shouldn't rent it for less than the day like we've been doing. And I think we need to look into some of these cleaning issues and satisfy some of those. Do you have any recommendations, Mike, about what we want to do with the yacht club? Do you want to do anything with that tonight, or you want to postpone that again? Because, as far as I saw from the email, nobody reached out until Monday.
Well, but if we're going to workshop this, then that conversation needs to happen by the time that we workshop this, and that's part of our conversation.
I agree.
And then I had questions about the Civic Club and PD, because I think that was the other issue, is when there's alcohol with Civic Club events, we're going to require them to have PD, and I think several of us said yes, but then are they going to pay for that? How is that going to work? And so we need to workshop that, and
Yeah.
David needs to be a part of that conversation as well.
Yes. Well, I mean, you had mentioned you wanted to deal with that yacht club possibly, so I didn't know if he had any recommendations for you guys, if you wanted to deal with that separately or just do it all together. So, I
Well,
agree.
before we ever get to the workshop part, I will discuss it with the yacht club, see exactly what they're asking, so I'll be able to bring a fully competent discussion with you guys.
Okay. What's that? Yes, and when we do a workshop, it's open to the public, so anybody can come, anybody can chime in, anybody can give their thoughts about it if you want. So, do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion that we table item 11 pending the yet to be dated workshop and the outcome from that.
Okay, have a motion by Rick,
I'll second.
got a second by Jeff. Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimous. We will move on to the next item. New business, item number 12. Discussion and possible action may be taken on the following items. A, approve to adjust summer months council meetings to one meeting a month to occur on the first Tuesday of the month, June, July, and August. This is something we do every year for people who are getting out of school, they're going on vacation, and luckily, Alex, you don't have any input this year, do you?
We'll have all Tuesdays off now.
Alex is always like, we don't need to do that, we should have our meetings. You're done, okay? So that's what this item is. It's what we do every year. We want people to go take vacation, get away, do all that without having to worry about people not showing up to a meeting. Do we have any motions on item A? Okay, we have a motion by Amanda.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Who was that? Is that you whispering over there? Okay, got a second by Ed. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. All right, we'll move on to... Huh? You didn't raise your hand or anything. Are you nay? Okay. We have one nay. That was Alex Scanlon, by the way, just in case y'all didn't see. Item B, authorize the city administrator to negotiate a contract with DRC Emergency Services, LLC, for debris management. Mike?
So once again, thanks to Cheryl Hunter for putting that RFP together. She did an outstanding job. We did have 7 respondents. We reached out to 7 different companies. Cheryl actually sent them letters, contacted them in various ways. We had 4 respondents, 3 of whom gave us viable proposals. After consideration, a lot of it was cost. We weighted cost pretty high in this. And we actually gave them, in the RFP, we gave them a scenario that they had to cost out for us. And so the scores for two of the respondents were pretty close. The one we ended up bringing to council for a recommendation that I can enter into contract discussions with is DRC Emergency Services out of Galveston. I called around on some of their reference checks, and the ones that responded were overwhelmingly positive for the work they had done with them after Beryl. So that's what I'll be requesting from council tonight is permission to go ahead with contract discussions with DRC out of Galveston.
All right, thank you, Mike. Do we have a motion on item B?
I'll make a motion, we authorize the city administrator to negotiate a contract with DRC Emergency Services.
Okay, got a motion by Jeff.
Second it.
Got a second by Rick. Any discussion on that?
Did Crowder bid at all?
No, and Cheryl actually reached out to Crowder representatives and asked them why. And
I wanted to know why.
Me too.
Saturation.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay, all in favor? Motion passes unanimous. We'll move on to item
Sorry,
C.
I do have a question.
Okay.
But we have the debris monitor contract in place, right?
Yes.
That's the other piece.
Yes,
Yes.
that's complete. Item C, appoint a person to serve on the Emergency Service Board, ESB, due to the resignation submitted by Amanda Fenwick. She is not resigning from council, by the way. She's just resigning from ESB, so don't get too worried. So I have a person in mind that I was going to bring forward, but before I do that, I want to ask any of you guys if it's something you want to do. I know, Jeff, you showed some interest in it, but then it became a conflict with work and whatnot.
So they meet now on, did that get approved to
I
do
was
Mondays at
gonna
3
say that.
o'clock?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so my schedule, I can't do a Monday at 3 o'clock, which is what it just got changed to. Previously it was Monday at 6, and that's not an option for me anymore, so.
Yeah.
It's
So
what?
they changed the time to 3:30.
Oh, it's 3:30 on Mondays now, because that's even super more convenient. So just know that ahead of time, and it was a scheduling issue for me. It's not because I don't want to serve, it's not because I don't support the fire department, et cetera. It's just schedule issue.
Yeah, and I brought up, we had a meeting this Monday, and I brought up the fact that you know, our volunteers are councilmen, they're not all retired. We all work for a living. It's hard to get there at 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon. It's just really hard to do that. So that's going to limit us to our participation. I asked them not to do it, but they did it, and it was done.
How
So
often do
it
they
is what
meet?
it is. They meet every
Once a
third
month.
Monday. And so the one person that I did think of was David, because he's going to be here at work.
I seconded that when he and I spoke, just so you know. You're welcome.
So, but there's multiple reasons. It's not just because he's here at work, but he could make it. And it would help him understand how that emergency service board works. I mean, they do work together, you know, on the scene sometimes. So that would be my recommendation if any of you guys don't want to do it. But I don't want to keep you guys from doing it. So.
Pointing at me.
Well, here was my comment to him. Jeff flies a lot, as does Rick. We really need them to be at the council meeting so we have a quorum, more so than we need them at ESB.
And you're staying on, right? Because we have 2 seats on that board.
I'd be glad to
I'm
fill in
staying
if
on.
Jeff
Right.
can't make it.
I'm staying on. All eyes on you.
Not that it matters, but I strongly support the mayor's recommendation for the police chief.
Yeah. Can we third it?
Can we third it, he says.
We can do that.
I'm sorry, you can't make any motions, Mike.
He can give his opinion, however, which he did.
It only lasts an hour. They're
Some-
out, because the
Just
water
wear your
district-
snowsuit, because it's freezing cold in there.
WCID meets at 4:30. We're right behind it, so you'll be out.
We usually run a little bit late because Dick's late.
That is not true.
I'm kidding you.
Third Monday?
It is,
Third Monday.
every third Monday.
Third Monday.
Let me see if I can even make the first one.
The first one will be, yeah.
Oh,
First
no,
one will be in June.
No, we
No.
talked about moving it to the 23rd in June. 'Cause the 16th
And then
is
there's
early in
that,
the month.
when they get
That was
moved.
a special one, remember? Remember that?
I remember him
I mean, it's
talking
usually the
about a
third
budget meeting being moved.
No, they talked about moving it.
So the 23rd is a Monday.
Correct.
They talked about
But it's,
moving.
that one is the 4th one in June, but it's because the 3rd one in June was a little early.
Oh, I got you.
They were gonna make this one exception as kind of like the exception to the summer meetings here,
Exception to
you
the
know, their
exception. Yeah, yeah.
schedule. They were doing it just for that 1 month, but
Oh, I
then
got
the
you.
next month, it'll
Hey,
be back to
let-
the 3rd Monday.
Let's get him signed up, and then we'll tell him all that.
I'll give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, then Dave can take over.
That'll work. That's fair.
Okay.
So I'll move to appoint Jeff to the ESB.
But I may not be able to make the first one because my schedule's
make it.
already bid for my schedule, so.
If he can't make it, I'll make
Yeah,
it. Okay. Well, then you
if
take
you
it
go
off.
in his place just to be there, you won't be able to be voting.
Okay, you got it, Jeff.
So we have a motion by Amanda.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Rick. Is there any discussion? Vote for this one. No, I'm kidding. All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Jeff, you are the new representative. Okay, item D, approve interlocal agreement with TIPS, the Interlocal Purchasing System Purchasing Cooperative. Mike Cram.
So this is just another purchasing cooperative that gives us the opportunity to compare prices among the various cooperatives, especially when we start looking at things like, fleet replacement, the bigger budget items like police cars and that kind of stuff. We prefer to have more options than just having to go with one. I know from my past experience that when it comes to fleet vehicles, the price that is posted on some of the original state contract sites is not always your best bet. So having done some of that comparison shopping in the past, I really do think it's a good idea for us to be able to be involved in more of these to compare some of their prices.
Okay, maybe it'll make things more competitive too, huh? All right, we have any motions on item D?
I make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement for TIPS.
Okay, got a motion by Ed? A second by Amanda. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Item E, approve an annual lease for the flock safety camera and recording network. We kind of let David speak about this earlier. This is under you, Mike. Do you have any suggestions for us?
It's kind of a two-part thing, and I think the city attorney might chime in to assist me here. It is a grant application, and we have to ask council's approval to apply for any grants. So there's a grant application that goes with this to cover some of the cost. After that is the annual lease. So David, please chime in if I'm misspeaking to any of it. So what we're asking council for is kind of a two-part thing. The lease costs are already set at X dollars per camera per year. So there's no squabble there. But what we're trying to do is offset, basically, it's expensive. It's what, $3,000 a camera per year? Yes. And so these things are a force multiplier for us. The ones that we have used in the past, the police department hasn't been able to use. These you can put a description of a car in there and search it that way. You can put an LP in there and search it that way. It's a more robust system than what the city has participated in the past with previous camera systems, license plate reader systems. Not to mention the fact that there are literally hundreds of these things in Galveston County that other police departments have purchased and are leasing now. And by giving our police department access to this system, not only do we have, we have a lot of business and theft up at Target and Home Depot. And so that eats up some of our police department time and assets, but they're limited in how they can investigate the reports of crime, because up till now we haven't had a way to identify the people who are committing the crimes. But if we're able to capture the license plates of the suspect vehicles beforehand, or as the crimes are occurring, then actually the police department has something to follow up on. So it allows us to be there quicker on the spot. It allows us to not only take some of the thieving people off the playboard, but perhaps get some of the stolen things back for some of our our biggest tax earners in the city.
Yeah, so it allows us to support our businesses in essence.
Absolutely. And furthermore, if you have limited entries into this city, and especially onto the island. If we strategically place these things where they most benefit us, if we have crimes occur on the island, then we know who came and left. If we have a span of time, we can start looking and find out, did those people live on the island? Should they have been here? And we can follow up to see where they went with the other flock cameras. And if we develop a suspect, we can tag it in that flock system, and it'll hit anywhere it hits. It'll notify all our officers where we can expand that. We can expand it 200 miles if we want to, and say if this hits anywhere on a camera 200 miles from there, ping us and let us know, so we can better follow up on crimes.
So it's 3 cameras total in this system? That's what we're getting? Is that correct,
So
David?
we have to get at least 2 to participate in the program. I also wanted a video for the corner up here, Aspen and Clear Lake Road. It's live video. It alerts you if there's gunshots. You can view it live. It does a lot of things, and it gives us coverage of that whole area. The only place we wouldn't have coverage is directly behind Schaefer's. That little bit right there we wouldn't have. But what I wanted to do is see if we could get this approved, and then sit down with y'all, decide, you know, what's best for us. They also have a speed trailer that has the same technology. It doesn't record; it just reads license plates, and it shows the speed of vehicles where we could move it around. I know you had asked me about that, so I inquired about it.
Yeah.
So there's not a dollar amount that we're asking for right now. The grant will pay 80%, and we'll be responsible for the other 20%. And this grant we'll need to apply for this grant every year. We're not in a contract. If we don't get the grant, they take their stuff back at no cost to us.
So who issues the grant?
Texas Department of Public Safety.
DPS.
So we just reapply for the grant every year?
Yes, sir.
I guess.
Julie, you got any information that I don't have? Here, Julie.
Just go to that microphone.
Just that we'll have access to League City, to KEMA. We'll be able to work together. Chief's idea is to put, there's certain packages. There's the intersection package that would go up at the end of Clear Lake, I guess it's Clear Lake Road. It would go there, and when I say intersection, it would have several angles of the cameras. And then there would be 2 other cameras in addition that would go over here on, is this Birch? Okay, yes. And so, like Mike was saying, is it's going to catch everyone that comes on this island and off of this island. It is to where the grant will pay 80%. We would pay 20%. You know, we're not announcing any fees or anything right now because we're not sure like what packages Chief wants. We just need to have approval to move forward to actually ask for the grant. And then we can fill everybody in after that.
So when we talked before, you know, we were talking about getting a license to the ones that are pretty close in proximity, but you can't do that unless you're in the program.
Right. To participate in the program, you have to have 2. The 26th is the deadline.
23rd.
The 23rd is the deadline for the 2026 grant. So we're right on the line here.
Okay.
And Chief has the grant letter already written out.
That was my next question.
We've reviewed it, and it looks great.
It looks really good.
That's what's in our
Looks
packet,
really good.
right?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Chief.
So David, you're saying you wanted to do 3 cameras. The one you're talking about putting at the intersection up there at Clear Lake Road and Aspen, is that going to be trailer mounted also, or would that be something that would be more of a permanent mount like on one of the light poles, or how would that physically be put there?
On the utility poles, so there might be some cameras that need to be moved from that pole that we're going to be using, but we'll have permission to use that pole. And this program, they'll do all the legwork on it, as well as Home Depot. Home Depot owns their own flock cameras, and we'll write a letter to them, and they'll get us permission to use theirs as well.
Okay, and then we would have the other 2 that would just be mobile, and we could use them wherever we needed them at that particular time?
No. They're solid mounted. We're going to mount one at the bridge, and then one at East Shore.
Okay.
And the only mobile one that we'll have would be on the speed trailer if council decides to go that way with it, for us to move it around. It's all of what y'all want.
All right, cool. Thanks.
All right. Any more discussion? Okay. We have a motion. Okay. We don't have it. Okay, we have a motion to approve item E. We have a second?
I'll second.
I mean, specifically though, we want to,
Yeah, I
Apply
was
for the
gonna say-
grant, correct?
why
Yeah.
don't you, somebody needs to authorize moving forward with
The grant, yeah.
flood
With the
safety
grant.
system camera. Right, grant application, which is a precursor to the annual lease. Right. Prerequisite to it.
Okay, so did you just amend your motion? Okay. So we have an amended motion of moving forward with the block camera lease, or not lease, grant application.
I'll
You
second.
second that? Okay, so motion by Amanda, second by Jeff. Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimous. We will adjourn the meeting at